Hey Geek, so I've been collecting physical media for a little over 20 years now, and that includes everything from VHS and a little bit of beta, Laserdisc, DVD, and of course, Blu-rays and 4Ks. So needless to say, I absolutely love physical media, especially when it comes to preserving the movies and shows that you love. However, I don't think physical media is enough. So what do I mean when I say physical media is not enough? Well, as we all know, in our current modern age, digital and streaming is where the vast majority of people around the world consume their entertainment content. And for people like us who really love physical media, we're actually the rare exception to the rule versus being the majority. And so with all of that being said, I'm going to be going over my top 3 reasons why you still need a digital streaming service option to go along with your physical media collection. So let's start with the first biggest pro with using digital streaming services, and that is of course convenience. There is simply no contest here because whenever you have your physical media, you are limited physically by where you're at because you have your movie, your player, your TV, and the location where you're at. Whereas with these digital streaming services, you could be practically anywhere around the world as long as you have an internet connection, and you could also download these and watch them offline as well in most cases. And so the overall convenience and flexibility of these digital services is simply unmatched compared to physical media. And then the second place where digital streaming services are simply unmatched and unbeatable is in its huge, nearly limitless selection of content that is available. There's simply no way that a physical media collector is ever going to be able to compare to the sheer amount of content that's available on all these digital streaming services, which are constantly adding more and more every single day. And that is another huge benefit of having a digital streaming option versus just having physical media alone. And for me, a lot of what I use these services for is basically to find new content, new movies and shows that maybe I want to buy in physical media if it is available. And so there's definitely a huge gap when it comes to the sheer amount of content that's available in digital versus physical only. And so my third and final reason why I feel digital streaming services has an advantage over physical media is in costs. Now, I will say with physical media, even though you are paying more at the beginning, you're actually going to be saving more at the end for the movies and the shows that you love, because first and foremost, you are able to watch these as many times as you want, however you want, and at the same time, you're typically going to get the best version of this movie or show whenever you're getting in physical media. But if you have to compare it per title, then there's simply no contest here, because whenever you're paying $10, $20, maybe $30 a month for digital streaming services versus even one of these, which could be more than that, especially for these limited special editions, you're going to get access to thousands and thousands of movies and shows, and that is simply something that physical media cannot compete with if you're comparing individual costs of movies and titles versus these streaming services, which gives you so much more. And so those are my thoughts on why I feel physical media alone is not enough, and why I feel you should also have a digital streaming service option to go along with your physical media collection, especially if you're the type of person who just enjoys having not only stuff that you love, but also want to discover new movies and shows as well, and want to have all the options available. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my movie collection videos, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on another episode.